Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nick. I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional, and today talking about the WNBA games for Monday, August 26th. For Before I get into the games, I always like to do a little bit of news, and today's news is that the Chicago Sky have a new mascot by the name of Sky with an E at the end. She is a lioness with beautiful braids, and she will debut at the August 28th game against the Mystics. The lioness was chosen to embody strength, feminine power, grace, and the courage to overcome obstacles, qualities that the Chicago Sky consistently showcase. Apparently, this is from the news article. And the Sky was built from costume designer Randy Carfagno, and that's Randy Carfagno Productions, who built the New York Liberty's Ellie the Elephant. So I'm super excited. She looks cool. So happy that the Sky Guy is over. Did not make sense for the WNBA basketball league or team, and Sky looks beautiful. She looks appropriate. I'm really excited to see what she brings, and hopefully she has a little bit of sass. Now on to the games. There were three. The first game today was the Indiana Fever, which I wouldn't normally cover. Actually, I don't really watch Fever games, but they were playing the Dream, so I'm going to move you over. So they were playing the Dream, so I was like, I'll watch it. Why not? Have it on in the background. I was more excited to watch the other games that were on a little bit later in the evening. But what I did watch and what I could see, this is like my take on it. So Angel Gray and LaChana Robinson were calling the game, which was fantastic. Was watching the crowd, and they're, they call it like the Caitlin Clark effect, and that she brings out a lot of people. They were saying that the game was sold out, but it didn't look sold out. You could see there were tons of empty seats on camera, and I think that's because there were people who bought a lot of seats but were resellers or scalpers, and they weren't able to resell them at a high cost. So yeah, sure, she's selling out, but it sounds like it's inflated. There wasn't actually a draw, that big of a draw, for it to be actually sold out. Not enough people actually came to the game. Also, I think I've said this before, I think it's trashy and rude to go to a home game for a team and then root for the opposing team. I think that's super trashy, super rude, not mindful, not demure, okay? But people do it nonetheless, and then we'll have the audacity to cheer louder too than the home team. Whatever, you're an awful person. You are. Anywho, back to the game. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus was still out with a lower leg injury. There was a point in the game where Clark rolled her ankle from a no contact. Whatever. She came back in the game later. At the end of the first quarter, it was 22-17. In between those quarters, Ruthie Bolton and Venus Lacey were honored, and Val Ackerman, who is also the first president of the WNBA. At first, I wasn't sure why they were being honored, but then they said something about the '96 Olympic team, so they're honoring them, which makes sense. Venus Lacey kind of has a storied history where she came into the league really late in the tour of the '96 Olympic tour, but she did help the team win gold. Unfortunately, like a year later, she was in a car injury right after that, and it stole not only her memories, but it really hindered her professional playing career. She did go on to play in the ABL and the WNBA for a limited amount of time, but those injuries from that car accident pretty much killed her career, and she doesn't remember anything about the Olympics, which is so tragic, but it is what it is. I love to see Ruthie Bolton there. She has my heart because she used to be with the Sacramento Monarchs, who are a defunct WNBA team from Sacramento, California. But love to see the old heads literally getting their flowers. So love to see that. At the end of the second quarter, it was 52-38. The Indiana were firmly in control. You go into the third quarter. Aaliyah Boston hits Alicia Gray hard in the face eye area with her elbow during a play. Gray goes to the ground for a while. Her goggles literally fly off of her head. The refs go to review it, and it is upgraded to a flagrant 1. A short time later, Ryan Howard gets a technical foul because she's annoyed with the refs because they call a foul pretty late. Like Lexi Hull fouls her, and she calls it really late. And so Ryan got mad, and they give her a technical foul. At this point, the third quarter, it's 70-59. You go into the fourth quarter. In the last 5 minutes of the game, it actually starts to get interesting, and the Dream just start roaring back. Tina Charles is able to cut the lead to 5 points, and then the team helps cut it to 2 points. There's 4 minutes left. Kelsey Mitchell helps the Fever kind of get their lead back, as she does. She's a prolific scorer. Nia Coffey hits a 3. It's a 3-point game. It's 82-79 with 34 seconds left. Dream try their best, but can't get the ball to fall. They got the rebound a few times. It was going back and forth, but Coffey was unable to control the ball. It goes out of bounds. It's a turnover. 6.5 seconds left. The Dream decide to play the foul game. Kelsey Mitchell hits both of her free throws, and then Ryan Howard does try to make a 3 but can't convert. So it is 84-79 at the end. Indiana gets their first 16 wins since 2016. So it's been 10 years since they've gotten 16 wins. That is pretty embarrassing. But it's fine. The game ends. Everyone's friends. Like, Aaliyah Boston's friends with like half of the team of Atlanta. She was like hugging everybody. It was pretty cute. So then the next two games start, which is the games that I actually cared about. Unfortunately, they were on at the same time, which is incredibly annoying. Before I get into those games, let me do the box score for the Indiana Fever and my partner just closed the door on me. The Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream. So 84-79. Ryan Howard had 16.7 rebounds. Tina Charles had 28 points, 8 rebounds. She had a monster night. Alicia Gray had 12 points. Jordan Canada had 10 points. Really great contributions from them. Indiana Fever, Aaliyah Boston had 14 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. Kelsey Mitchell had 29 points, 7 rebounds. Crazy. Caitlin Clark had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. She actually had 2 steals and 1 block. Look at her blocking shots. And then Demiris Dantas had 11 points, so great for them. Now, back to the games that I actually cared about, which were the New York Liberty versus the Phoenix Mercury. But Nigel Hamilton is back in the game, which is fantastic. And it is a very very tight start to the quarter for the Liberty. They were doing their thing, though. And then at the end of the first quarter, it was 19-18. In the second quarter, the Mercury and Liberty were going at it. It was even throughout that quarter, and Diana Taurasi ties it 38 points, 38, and then also during that quarter, Natasha Cloud becomes the leader in assists for the Phoenix Mercury for their franchise. So we go into the third quarter again, super close quarter, but the edge is a little bit to the Liberty, and also there starts to be very questionable fouls being called from the refs. Don't want to get into it, but the refs are trash. 59-53 is the score. We go into the fourth quarter. Courtney Vandersloot is just hitting everything. She is back in her form, and you could not stop her tonight. And the Mercury were leaving her open. It was crazy. I was like, why are you not covering her? Why are you not guarding her? She was like open so many times, and she was laying them down. Liberty go on a run. It is 71-57 with 6.5 minutes left in the game. I was like, ooh, it's not looking good. The Mercury were able to cut the lead, but the Liberty still maintained their lead. The Mercury would cut it, and then the Liberty would go back, roaring back. So that game ended 84-70. Let's get into the box score for that. That's not open. All right, so the box score, so the Phoenix Mercury, Kalia Copper had 14 points. Brittany Griner had 22 points, 6 rebounds. She had a lot of turnovers, though. She had 7 turnovers. Not great night. Diana Taurasi had 10 points, 6 assists. Natasha Cloud had 18 points. Also a lot of turnovers, 6 turnovers. The turnovers were the issue for this game, clearly. There's just way too many. And those were the only leading scorers for the team, unfortunately. So there's Kalia, Brittany, Diana, and Natasha. And I mean, that if you're not getting anything from Sophie, it's just going to be a hard night. And Monique Billings didn't play as well as you would hope. New York Liberty, Brianna Stewart had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Jonquel Jones had 15.7 rebounds. Sabrina Ionescu had 13 points. Courtney Vandersloot had 16 points. But Nigel Hamilton had 9 points. There was a lot of contribution from a lot of people on that team, so they were able to pull it out. Go into the next game, which was happening at the exact same time. Very frustrating, but we get through it. This game was the Washington Mystics versus the Seattle Storm. Really excited because this was the first game that Gabby Williams had signed with the team last week, and this was her first game with them. So excited to see her play. Also, if you know anything about Gabby Williams and you watched USA versus France for the Olympic game, she was a star player. She's been in the WNBA for a long time, but she's had some issues with prioritization, so she was able to sign a deal for the rest of the season with the Storm, and she played amazing. She played absolutely, so happy that they signed her. Also, it was interesting, Dan Hughes, he's the former Seattle coach. He was also commenting for the game, so it's nice to see some old blood in the building. Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe were at the game, so love to see that. Unfortunately, this was an empty arena. It was like half full, unfortunately, and I think that has a lot to do with the Washington Mystics. They are not the greatest team. They've only won 7 games this season, 22 losses, so people didn't want to come. You can tell it's like, why would I want to come see the Mystics? They're not that great of a team. So unfortunately, it was quite an empty arena, but the Mystics have been playing really good lately. They've got a lot of their players back, and so it's been a lot more competitive, and it was a competitive game. If you can hear that, can you hear that? Probably. Is it gone? Is it going? Is it going? It's gone. That is a plane. I live near an airport. It's so loud. Then the windows are open. It is what it is. All right, so start of the first quarter, the Mystics super strong start. The Seattle do bring it back, but it's a very strong start from the Mystics. They came in and punched people in the face. Sammy Whitcomb does help though, and she goes on a run, but it was to the Mystics' credit. In the first quarter, it was 24-19. There was right after the end of that first quarter, Eric Tebow is so upset because the refs miss a call. He storms on the court after the quarter and is yelling in the ref's face. Obviously, he gets a technical. But yeah, you're gonna get a technical after the period is over. That's crazy. Eric Nepo Bebo Tebow. That's who gets technicals. Anyway, second quarter, you go into it. Gabby gets on the floor. She comes in. As soon as she comes in the game, she gets a steal and she gets a shot. Immediate impact. You're like, this is why we signed her. Amazing. But the Mystics, unfortunately, are playing fucking great. They were killing it. Seattle is keeping it tight, and they did get the lead in the halftime. It was 42-43, just a 1-point lead. During the halftime, former coach Dan Hughes interviews Noel Quinn, which is great because Noel Quinn used to be assistant coach under him, and then when he retired, Noel Quinn became the head coach. So that was like a nice little cute moment that they had. Going into the third quarter, Shakira Austin turns her ankle and has to be assisted off the floor, which is so disappointing because this girl is constantly getting injured. She is constantly hurt, and so yeah, she had to be taken off the floor. It is a very, very close quarter, but there is an edge to the Storm have the edge in the quarter, but it's still very close. Crazy thing, Jewel Lloyd had over 100 relatives come to this game to see her play, which is wild. They were all wearing like Jewel Lloyd shirts and stuff. It was very cute. But yeah, love to see the family support. Jade Melvin for Washington was killing it at the rim, especially in the third quarter. She was just making everything and anything, falling on the ground, doing what she needed to do to make points for them at the rim. And yeah, everyone was hitting the deck. There was a lot of wild sequences in the third quarter, and people were just falling on the floor left and right, but no fouls were being called. People were just falling down. The quarter ends 56-55 with the Mystics with the 1-point edge. Now we go into the fourth. Gabby Williams is making all the right plays. Defensive plays, getting the ball back, stealing. She's doing amazing. Again, reinforcing why we signed her and why that was a good thing. Again, with people falling on the ground, Emily Inksler was falling on the ground. She plays for Washington Mystics. Falling on the ground every other play. Girl was on the ground. What is going on? Do you need new shoes? What is happening? She was on the ground most of the game. It's crazy, but she was playing really well, so you can't hate it. The Mystics were really making it very difficult for the Storm. Brittany Sykes was making plays. Emily Inksler was making shots. It was just Mystics came to play. Then at the very end of the game, Nneka Nwumike ties the game 72-72. 55 seconds left. They are going on the other side of the field, and then they call Skylar Diggins-Smith for a foul on Brittany Sykes that wasn't there. You show the replay, she did not foul her. These refs are on some bullshit. They are so terrible, and the whole game Skylar was getting called with all these fouls. She had so many fouls. I think she had like 5 fouls for phantom plays, honestly, and unfortunately the refs called this game. Like, we didn't get to see this play out. The refs decided that they were in control of this game, and so Sykes went to the line. She made her free throws. She made both of them. It was 74-72. There's only 1.1 second left. Sky do get the ball inbounded, but Emily Inksler deflects the ball away from Nneka, and she's not able to get a shot off. So it ends 74-72. Mystics win one game in their series against the Seattle Storm, so it's 3-1 in this series. Now let's look at the box score for this game. Jordan Horston had 6 points. Nneka Nwumike had 9 points, 10 rebounds. She almost had a double-double. She had 2 steals. Ezzie McLemore had 9 points. Jewel Lloyd had 16 points. Skylar Diggins-Smith had 10 points, 8 assists. But she had 5 personal fouls. They did not like Skylar tonight. Whoever these refs were, they were not feeling her. Mercedes Russell had 8 points, which is fantastic. She's not always a high-scoring person on the team, but she had a good night. Sammy Whitcomb had 11 points. She was doing what she needed to do, but coming from this team, this was actually a pretty low scoring game for them, and for each person. Like I expect a lot of these players to make way more shots than that. So, and then you look at the Washington Mystics. Brittany Sykes had 20 points, 20 goddamn points, 2 steals, 1 block. Stephanie Dolson had 5 points, but she had 10 rebounds. Julie Van Loo had 11 points. Shakira Austin only had 6 because she had to go out of the game. Shatori Walker Kimbrough had 11 points. Emily Inksler had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals. So way more production from Washington, and that made a big difference in the game, and is the reason why they won. Also, the refs. Like I said, I'm telling you, these refs love to be in their feelings and don't be calling things consistently. Actually, I would say over all 3 games today, the refereeing has been terrible, absolutely terrible. If the ref has not been in the league for more than 5 years, if they are a new ref, they're not good. Everyone kind of knows it. It's just really disappointing. But anywho, that was the games for today. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things that you do on social media, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.